Hello, Kurt Jackson, your Safe Money Man with KJ Financial and Liberty here. Thanks for tuning in today's video where we're going to focus on what your ideal investment would be, or maybe what it should be. I want to start by asking you some questions about your money. What would you say if there was a mutual fund where your money could enjoy great growth opportunities, where your money automatically locked in gains without triggering any tax or suffering any losses, where your money was allowed to grow tax-free, where your money created a tax-free income that you couldn't outlive, where your money was never put at risk, where your money never lost any gains, where your money was always liquid, where your money enjoyed a fee structure that gets smaller and smaller over time, especially in retirement, and where your money was backed by a state-controlled fund just in case the company backing the vehicle failed. You'd say, yeah, right, wouldn't you? You can't be blamed for thinking that. Heck, with the huge losses in the market, the whole Madoff scam, we can go back to Enron, all the negative news surrounding the market, it's easy to understand why you'd be suspicious or even skeptical. All right, I want to ask you a favor. I want you to play along with me for just a few minutes here, and let's assume what I talked about just a second ago is actually real, and you could have your money doing all of those things. If that was the case, how would your financial stress level be impacted? Would you sleep better at night knowing that your money was safe from loss and that you weren't missing out on opportunities when the market was up? What if you could have all those benefits and your loved ones could have a feature that would fulfill your savings goals no matter when you die? Would that make you think differently? What if it also offered a huge tax-free benefit for you and your loved ones if you ever needed long-term care or suffered or had a terminal illness? Could that perhaps make it more attractive? What if the income that you took in retirement was not only tax-free, but it was the only income that didn't trigger taxes on your Social Security benefits? Would that make you not like this type of financial product? What if this was real, but it wasn't a mutual fund? Would that change your mind? Would you say no to it? What if this was real, but it wasn't a bank CD? Would that make you think differently? Would you eliminate it from your consideration? If this was in fact available, would you care what it was called? Would you change your mind just because it was called something maybe that you're not familiar with? What if it was a financial vehicle that you had been told your entire life was bad for you? Does it sound bad for you? It doesn't to me. Doesn't it sound like anyone that would say this vehicle is a bad one for you is either off their rocker, or maybe more plausible is has an alternative agenda, like maybe selling a competing financial vehicle? So by now, would you care what it was called? Would you really care what type of financial product it is if it actually can deliver all those promises? Would you leave your money in other risky vehicles that have always had higher fees and seldom, if ever, earned more actual returns just because the financial product we're talking about is life insurance? Well, wait a minute. To be more specific, it's not just any old type of life insurance. It's a properly structured, indexed, universal life insurance policy. Did I lose you there? Probably did. All right, well, I'll try to get you back here. Just give me a couple more minutes. Would you be willing to give up all those benefits just because it's called life insurance? Would you not drive today's Ford Fusion because Ford once made the Pinto that exploded on a rear impact crash? See, the Pinto's got nothing to do with today's Ford Fusion, just as yesterday's permanent life insurance has nothing to do with today's much more advanced model. We know this goes against everything you've ever been taught, but that doesn't mean we're wrong, and the powers that be who have taught us to never to think of properly structured universal life insurance as a way to successfully build wealth are right. All right? Think about it this way. If a properly structured index universal life policy can actually deliver all these benefits, if you were selling stocks or bonds or mutual funds or any other financial vehicle, wouldn't you want people to believe that life insurance is bad? Would it surprise you to know that when you factor in market losses and annual fees over just about every 20 or 30-year period, and the longer ones too, the properly structured index universal life insurance has earned a higher actual return over the S&P 500. And it gets even bigger when you include the average annual fees on each. The only time the market might, and notice I said might, outperform a properly structured index universal life policy is on short time frames, usually less than probably 10 years. Next, when you factor in the inevitable taxation of your money in your 401k or your IRA, that you have to take income at 70.5 whether you need it or not, and that the income that you take can help trigger taxes on your Social Security, And when you contrast that with a properly structured index universal life insurance policy that doesn't have to do any of those things, it's easy to see why this safe vehicle clearly outperforms having your money at risk in the market. See, life insurance structured the way we're talking about is by far the best way to build wealth for at least the first $2 million of everyone's portfolio. Because, if you really think about it, until you have $2 million in wealth built up that you know you're never going to lose, should you be taking any risks with your money? I mean, until you have that much money safely put away, can you really afford losing any money? Now, you're probably wondering why you've never heard about this way of using a properly structured index universal life policy. And that's because probably about as many as 97% of insurance agents and 99.9% of financial advisors do not know how to properly structure one. And what's worse, they've never taken time to learn how to properly structure them. When you stop and think about that for a moment, isn't it sad that an overwhelming majority of financial professionals, people that are paid to help people with their money, don't fully understand such a powerful vehicle? And it's even worse for those that refuse to take the time to learn about this. It's understandable why they haven't. See, since they're structured for you to build wealth, the commissions are much, much lower on them from the agent's perspective. From the agent's perspective, they aren't as attractive to sell. Plus, since they're such a threat to Wall Street and the banks and the government, it can take a lot longer to get consumers to fully understand them and get the consumer past the huge misinformation campaign that's been going on for years and years and years. When you mix in that it takes more time with the consumer and the commissions are lower, it makes it easy to understand why insurance agents and financial professionals wouldn't like them. I mean, it's more work for less money, and most folks don't like to do that. For many financial advisors, they work with companies that will not let them sell these types of vehicles. Think about it. Since the design of these policies is better for the consumer, they don't make as much money for the company or the advisor. All right, if we thought about it this way, all right, let's assume you had $750,000 in a mutual fund, and according to Morningstar, the average annual fees in mutual funds are about 3.04% per year. So that would be $22,800. $22,800 of your money would be coming out of your $750,000 mutual fund every year and into the pockets of your advisor and their company. And if we compare that to the fee structure on the type of policy that we're talking about here, it's usually less than 0.75% per year, which would be $5,625. But keep in mind, for that fee, you also get all of those benefits, plus a death benefit, plus those living benefits, and not to mention, don't forget, the tax-free nature of the product. Wouldn't you much rather pay $5,625 a year for all the life insurance policy gives you than the $22,800, which leaves your money at risk and taxable? The unique structure of this financial vehicle, it also allows you to create a lot more income, even if the actual balance happens to be lower than what was in a market-based vehicle, like stocks, bonds, mutual funds, and the like. If you think about it for a moment, it makes perfect sense. Remember, there's no taxes on that income, which means you could actually pocket more income with less money. And since you're insulated from ever losing money when the market's down, it allows you to take more money out each year without the fear of ever running out of money. Isn't more income what we really want in retirement? Now, if you'd like to know more about this safe and secure way to protect and build your wealth, please call me, Kurt Jackson, your Safe Money Man, at 816-582-5532, or email Kurt, K-U-R-T, at kjfinancialonline.com. I promise that you'll not walk away disappointed with the amazing information we'll share with you. Thanks for taking a few minutes to watch our video. If you found value in it, please forward the link to your friends and your family so they can learn how to keep their money safe, build wealth more predictably, and literally live an income tax-free existence in retirement. Have a great day.